Hi, this is Steve Merril, wagertalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV with your top 25 college football preview. I'm going to look at the three biggest games for this Saturday, September the 25th. We've got a couple head-to-head top 20 matchups, and then a third game that just missed the criteria with the top 25 opponent, the team that's just outside the rankings. The three biggest college football games this weekend, covering early, mid-afternoon, and nighttime action. We're going to look at Notre Dame, Wisconsin, mid-afternoon game between Texas A&M and Arkansas, and then the nightcap, West Virginia, Oklahoma. Three big national TV games for you. Top 25 teams playing on Saturday afternoon and evening. Don't forget, though, if you want my official best bets, the games that make the cut. And by the way, I gave you one of those free last week here on this video. There's one this week I'm looking at, too, that might make the cut. But if you want my strongest plays, the games that went 7-2, 78% last Saturday, Sunday, and Monday in college and pro football, then be sure to go to my page right now, Steve Merril, wagertalk.com. Use the shortcut wt.buzz/SM. And when you're there, use a special promo code that I'm giving you on this video only, and that's Merril79, 2 R's, 1 L. Merril79 gets you a full 7 days all sports, college and pro football, plus 7 days and nights of Major League Baseball, which includes my number one ranked MLB totals this year at wagertalk.com. MERRIL79. Merril79, full 7 days and nights, football and baseball right now. Steve Merril, wagertalk.com. Let's get to the first top 25 matchup for Saturday, and you don't have to wait long. It's an early game at 12 noon Eastern on Fox National TV, and that's Notre Dame against Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin's the bottom team on the rotation schedule, but don't let that fool you. This is not a home game. It's a neutral site game in Chicago at Soldier Field. Maybe the early bettors this week thought it was a home game because this line went from 3 to 6 very early in the week around Tuesday. It's now sitting 6.5 as we head into the weekend, and that's exactly where my power ratings pointed. I liked Wisconsin earlier this week when it was -3, and I agree with that line move. Unfortunately, a lot of that line value is now gone at 6.5. But I would still lean Wisconsin here just based on the fact I think they're the better team. They've got a huge rushing edge in this game. You know, back in the day when I started 25 years ago in 1996, rushing yardage was everything when handicapping college football. Obviously, it's more about passing now, but the line of scrimmage is still where games are won or lost. And I think Wisconsin has that edge here. Just look at the rushing numbers. Wisconsin is outrushing their opponents 263 to 33. Meanwhile, Notre Dame is being outrushed 106 to 151 this year. They're averaging just 2.9 yards per carry. They're giving up 4.4. Wisconsin's averaging 4.7. They're allowing just 1.8. So pretty big difference on the line of scrimmage. I think that's why we've seen some early money coming on Wisconsin. And by the way, that is sharp money. When the money comes in on Tuesday or Wednesday, that's sharp money. And the public is actually leaning towards Notre Dame in this week. I'm looking at some public consensus, 65% on Notre Dame, yet the line is going a full field goal higher. So I think we do have a sharp square divide in this game. Once again, my power ratings make the line 6.5, and that's exactly where it is. But Wisconsin did get some sharp money earlier this week, and I can understand why. That game goes at 12 noon Eastern on Fox. Next game on the schedule at 3:30 Eastern on Saturday afternoon is a big one in the SEC, and that's Texas A&M against Arkansas. Once again, another neutral site game for this one. And by the way, this game is on CBS National TV at 3:30 Eastern Saturday afternoon. Texas A&M and Arkansas in Arlington in Jerry World at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. You would think maybe a slight edge for Texas A&M staying in state, but I think Arkansas will travel extremely well because these Arkansas fans are excited after a perfect 3-0 straight up and also a perfect 3-0 against the spread start. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I talked about this game right here in my top 25 preview video, and that was Texas at Arkansas. The line was 7, close 6. I said I made the number 5. I said the value was with Arkansas. And boy, did they blow Texas out of that game, 40-21. Now, though, because of that, I think this line is a little short. In fact, my power ratings favor Texas A&M by 6 points in this game. Current line is 5. Now, you might see the opener is 6.5, but some books open 5.5. So it was really a little bit of a battle on Sunday and early Monday between 6.5, 5.5. It settled 5.5. It has come down to 5. And once again, I do think the public will probably be a little bit on Arkansas in this game, and that's why the line has dropped. But my power ratings favor A&M by 6. So I do think there's a little bit of line value there. Obviously, a big step up in class for Texas A&M. They haven't played much this year. Kent State, Colorado, New Mexico. But they've looked pretty good doing so. 6 yards per play. They've allowed just 3.5. They've outscored those opponents 28-6 on average. Texas A&M traveling first true road game. They have had a neutral site game, though, against Colorado. Meanwhile, Arkansas is traveling for the first time all season. And while it's a neutral site game, I do think that's a disadvantage for them. They caught Texas in a pretty good spot a few weeks ago. If you mentioned, as I mentioned here on the video a couple weeks ago when we previewed that game, it was Sarkisian, new head coach for Texas, first true road game, young team, a lot of new starters. and it just wasn't a good spot for Texas. So I don't read too much into that blowout win. I think this will be a bigger test for Arkansas, and the line does look a little short for me. Make the line 6. Currently, it's only 5. That game goes 3:30 Eastern Saturday afternoon on CBS. Quick reminder before we get to the big nighttime game between West Virginia and Oklahoma, if you'd like to get a full 7 days of my best bets for college and pro football, same games that went 7-2, 78% last Saturday, Sunday, and Monday through the weekend, and also my number one ranked MLB totals. It's been number one since April, over 60 units won. You get it all for just $79 with promo code Merril79, Merril 79, 2 R's, 1 L. Merril 79 gets you a full 7 days and nights whenever you want to start this week for just $79. Steve Merril, wagertalk.com. Use shortcut code WT.buzz/SM. Last game on the board for our top 25 preview goes at 7:30 Eastern on Saturday night on ABC National TV, and that's a true home game now for Oklahoma against West Virginia. And I think the value is with the Sooners here. I make the line 21. The line is currently only 17. It did open 16.5, came up a little bit to that key number of 17, but it's still not high enough. I think there's a couple reasons why. First of all, Oklahoma didn't look great last week offensively against Nebraska. 23-16 win, barely covered the points. I mean, barely scored the points, but it didn't come close to covering, obviously. The point spread was 22. Keep in mind, back in week 1, they were a 31-point favorite over Tulane. They only win 40-35, and that was not a good spot for Tulane. The game was moved out of New Orleans because of the hurricane, moved to Norman, and then Tulane keeps it close, and they almost went outright as a 31-point dog. Oklahoma did have a cupcake game in between against Western Carolina. They were almost a 50-point favorite. They did what they had to, won 76-0. So I can understand why the public is looking at West Virginia. And by the way, West Virginia, another public underdog this week in college football. And as you all know from my NFL Fade the Public video, which will be available this weekend right here on WagerTalk TV, it's always a red flag when the public is backing an underdog because they usually play favorites, they play overs. West Virginia does look like a public dog this week, and that is why the line is too short. And as you also know from my NFL Fade the Public videos, normally the reason fading the public works long-term is because you lose line value with these inflated teams, or in this case, you're getting a deflated favorite. I make Oklahoma a 21-point favorite. The line is only 17. That's a 4-point difference, and it's covering a lot of key margins, 17, 18, 20, 21, all likely margins. So at 17 or less, I do like Oklahoma in this nightcap. And I think the Sooners, this is their breakout game. As I mentioned, they look sluggish against Tulane. Nebraska, they didn't look as good offensively, but I was impressed with the defense. Nebraska, a very good offensive team this year. And the fact that Oklahoma held them to just 16 points, I think that's a solid indicator last week. And that's what they need against a West Virginia offense that is good, but not great. I think Oklahoma is going to outscore them big time here, win by more than 3 touchdowns. Once again, some sneaky value with Oklahoma. You know, over the years, you wouldn't have said there's value with a high-profile team like Oklahoma. But after the sluggish start, I actually think there is now. I make the line 21. Odds makers have it 17. Take a look at Oklahoma in that late game on Saturday night, 7:30 Eastern on ABC. Hey, don't forget, if you want my official best bets this weekend, go to wagertalk.com, Steve Merril right now, shortcut code WT.buzz/SM. And while you're there, take advantage of this strong promo, $79 all week, all sports, all access. Every football, baseball play for the next 7 days and nights for just $79 with promo code Merril79, 2 R's, 1 L, Merril 79. Merril 79 gets it done for the next 7 days and nights. College and pro football and Major League Baseball. Steve Merril, wagertalk.com. Thanks for watching as always. Be sure to like this video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to WagerTalk TV. And most importantly, leave me some comments below. I love my comments. I read each and every one of them, and I reply back. Subscribe, thumbs up, like, and comment below. And be sure to check back this weekend right here on WagerTalk TV for my NFL Fade the Public video, which has hit well over 70% since I started it last year, right here on WagerTalk TV. Best of luck this weekend. I'll talk to you again soon.